Throughout the Bible, Jesus encourages us to ask for what we need. This suggests that if we lack something, perhaps it's because we haven't asked for it. But does this imply that God automatically grants our every request? That's the question James 4:13 talks about. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire but do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive, because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. James 4:1. Indeed, what causes fights and quarrels among us? James makes it clear. He tells us it's because of the battles going on inside us. We want things, but we can't have them. We crave things, but we can't get them. So we end up arguing and fighting with others. James says that part of the problem is that we don't ask God for what we need, and even when we do ask, sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. But let us pause and reflect on the deeper implications of these words. It is not merely the presence of desires that leads to conflict, but the nature of those desires themselves. When our desires are driven by selfishness, greed, and lust for power, they inevitably lead to strife and division. We become consumed by the pursuit of our own pleasure, heedless of the needs and well-being of others. But James doesn't stop there. He goes on to address a fundamental aspect of our relationship with God: prayer. He reminds us that if we lack something, it may be because we have failed to ask God for it. This is a powerful reminder of the importance of prayer in our lives. Jesus himself instructed us to ask, and he assured us that we would receive. Matthew 7:7-8. When we do ask, we may not receive because we ask with wrong motives. This is a crucial point that we must not overlook. It's not merely a matter of asking. It's about the condition of our hearts when we ask. If our prayers are driven by selfish desires, if we seek only to gratify our own pleasures, then our prayers will go unanswered. So, what does this mean for us? Does it mean that God will give us whatever we ask for? Not necessarily. God is not a genie who grants our every wish. He is a loving Father who desires what is best for us. Sometimes what we ask for may not be in line with His will for our lives. As Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22:42. The real issue behind not receiving what we ask for isn't merely about asking. It's about why we're asking in the first place. James sheds light on some of these wrong motives, but at the core lies coveting, an insatiable desire to possess what we don't have. Coveting breeds jealousy toward others' blessings and a relentless pursuit to outdo them. How can we recognize if coveting has taken root within us? One indicator is our reaction to others' blessings. Do we genuinely rejoice in their good fortune, or do we resent them? When we hear of someone else's success, do we feel compelled to overshadow it with our own achievements? Coveting blinds us to the abundance already present in our lives, causing us to fixate on what we lack. But let me tell you, my friends, true fulfillment doesn't come from amassing possessions or surpassing others. It comes from embracing gratitude for what we have and celebrating the blessings of those around us. This emotion isn't just detrimental. It's a spark that ignites conflicts, disputes, and tragically even violence. Let me reiterate that James isn't addressing just anyone. He's speaking directly to fellow believers. The startling truth is that this desire originates from within us, serving as a stark reminder of the deceitfulness of our own hearts and the powerful sway our sinful nature can hold over us if left unchecked. When James points out that we lack because we don't ask, it's actually a blessing in disguise, a safeguard against the destructive consequences of our selfish desires. Think about it. What if God granted every request tainted by selfish motives? we'd be in a world of trouble. Thankfully, God, in His infinite wisdom and boundless love, discerns our true intentions and chooses not to indulge prayers driven by self-serving agendas. So, while the act of asking and having faith are undeniably important, the underlying motives behind our requests carry even greater weight. God's message through James is crystal clear. Prioritize purity of heart over the mere act of asking. It's a reminder to align our desires with His will, to seek His glory above our own gratification. Another issue to consider is what we desire and why we desire it. Some of our desires, such as wanting to grow closer to God or to become more like Jesus, benefit not only us, but also those around us. However, the desires James talks about are purely self-centered. They revolve around our immediate wants, without regard for others. It's no wonder then that God doesn't always grant these requests. Furthermore, when our desires are solely focused on ourselves, they often lead to conflicts and disagreements. It's logical, isn't it? If everyone is only concerned about satisfying their own desires, tensions are likely to arise. This is why Paul advises us in Philippians 2:3-4 to act with humility, valuing others above ourselves and looking out for their interests. Imagine if our prayers were centered on serving and uplifting others instead of solely catering to our own desires. Those are the prayers that truly resonate with God. You can't expect to receive anything from God if you're lacking in faith. Hebrews 11:6 reminds us, and without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. Is what you're asking for aligning with God's will? One surefire way to know is to pray in line with God's promises in His Word. If God's promised it, you can confidently bring it before Him. That's the assurance we have. When we pray according to His will, He's listening, and He's ready to answer. So, take a good, hard look at why you're asking for what you're asking for. If your heart's in the right place, you can be confident in asking. Let us approach God with humility and sincerity in our prayers. Let us align our desires with His will and seek His guidance in all things. And let us remember the words of James, "Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you." James 4:8. When we seek God with pure hearts and right motives, He will surely hear our prayers and grant us the desires of our hearts according to His perfect plan and timing. Let us strive to cultivate hearts that are pure and motives that are pleasing to God. Let us pray earnestly, knowing that our loving Father hears us and delights in granting us the desires of our hearts when they align with His will. And let us walk in faith, trusting in His wisdom and sovereignty in all things. May His blessings rest on you as you seek Him with all your heart. Let us strive to cultivate hearts that are pure and motives that are pleasing to God. Let us pray earnestly, knowing that our loving Father hears us and delights in granting us the desires of our hearts when they align with His will. And let us walk in faith, trusting in His wisdom and sovereignty in all things. May His blessings rest on you as you seek Him with all your heart. God bless you. By subscribing, you become a vital part of our mission to spread the Word of God and uplift countless lives. Join us in making a positive impact. Hit that subscribe button now.